OK，你们好，Hello everyone。所以我现在这些都是要介绍一些疑难解答，然后希望可以帮助你们。这样子，如果你们有问题的话，只要看这些应该就够了。So I'm going to go through some troubleshooting and frequently asked questions so that when you watch this video, you should be able to see a lot of the answers to commonly and frequently asked questions. Alright, 第一个 The very first thing is 这是我的网站 So this is my class website. 这里有很多很多的资源 There are many many resources in here. 你们自己需要花一点时间，然后看看很多不同我已经有分享过给每个学生的资源。So you need to spend the time to look at these resources I have shared with you, and there are many. Okay? 所以第一个是这是我的资料。So just the first thing is that this is a little bit of my information. 然后看你们课堂的资料。So look at your course information. 中文一、中文二、中文三和中文四。OK， 然后到这里就可以看到谷歌教室的日历。中文一 Mandarin One 第一节 Period One， 中文二第三节 Mandarin Two Period Three， 中文一第四节 Mandarin One Period Four， 中文二第六节 Mandarin Two Period Six， 还有中文三第八节 Mandarin Three Period Eight。然后看到这里，就是每一个课程更详细一点的资料，还有也许你们有一些问题的话，就可以看这里。OK， 大概介绍一下我们的课程是怎么样改我是怎么样看你们的作业或者怎么样考试。So here are the syllabi for the courses, and you can just find out a little bit more information in terms of the materials or grades and how they work. 好，这是混合教室的资料，比如说课堂期许，然后等到我们有时间练习写字还有写答案的时候，可以用谷歌的网上白板。So because many things are different, so this page may be updated soon. For now, has hybrid class information, including class expectations and Jamboard when we get to it, which is a Google tool, and it is a digital whiteboard. 好，然后你看这里，我不会一个一个讲，可是你可以自己看，有很多的资源。如果你对中文有兴趣，想要有一天去留学的话，或者只是想要看看一些好玩的资料，你可以看这些。So I'm not going to go over and click every single link on here, but if you are interested in the language you would like to study abroad someday, or you're interested in contests and scholarships, sorry, you can also look at these. 好，这是如何在你的电脑上面输入中文。This is how to type Chinese in PC or Mac. 我需要讲的是有一些方法可能比其他的更好，而且这个是已经不是最新的方法了。So I do need to warn you that this is a little bit outdated and some methods are better than others. 我等一下会给你们看在谷歌文件里面怎样直接输入中文，因为那应该会是最简单的。I'm going to show you in a second how to type Chinese in a Google Doc, which will probably be the most commonly used method for you. Okay, and should be the easiest. 不管你是 PC 还是 Mac，其实都绝对可以输入中文。其实最简单的方法之一也是直接在你的手机上面。Okay, actually, whether you're Mac or PC, it's definitely possible to type into Chinese, but one of the easiest ways is actually just type on your phone because then you can add the keyboard. 可是都可以，没关系，可以输入键盘。OK，if you do not have Microsoft Word or the above methods do not work, you can type Chinese or Pinyin with tones using the following sites. This is a short YouTube tutorial that you can click, but you can also do this, MDBG, and you can type Chinese in simplified characters or type Pinyin. But first, we're going to focus on simplified characters, so I'm going to open a link, and while that loads, I'm also going to click here, Google Translate. I understand fully that you can use Google Translate, but I understand fully the horrible flaws of Google Translate. I actually use it all the time because I translate a lot for other people, for other things, and I use Google Translate to check myself. okay, or to use it as like a quick dictionary for certain words that I do not know in either Chinese or English or other languages I'm using it for. But I can tell you for sure that this is a really, really bad translator. There is actually the best resource in terms of using Chinese, and I will show you that in a second as well. OK， 好，然后还有这里是有一些短片是我们在上课的时候可能会看过的。So these are just some videos that we may watch during class, but they're just also put here. 然后这是有关于我自己有可能上网或者是参加一些培训，然后有做一些yeah 训练。So these are just some certifications that I've done because I really actually love doing all kinds of training and professional development, whether online or in person. OK， 好，所以我们现在要看如何打入中文。When you click this this link, actually, the link that you saw before in terms of how to type Chinese, so this is a very good website, mdbg.net. Okay, so for example, we have, you know the word now, right? 你好. Oops, 对不起. 你好. The way that this works is you cannot type a full sentence, so you kind of just type it a few words at a time, and it'll give you choices, right? So here, 你好. I didn't even need to type tones or anything, but it gave me the characters, and then I can copy and paste this right over. However, if you click English mode, right, then I guess I could put hello. I don't use this that often actually, so I know it's a good resource, but I don't use it too much. And if you notice here, you also have other resources, right? You can look things up in Google, word dictionary, character dictionary, or translate. Okay. But I'm going to go back and unclick this. And again, if I just put ni, right? So this is why characters matter and tones actually do matter, but you can't see it here. So ni, if you just spell it ni, it can look like all of these different characters and have all of these different meanings. And so that is why you need to pick the correct one. It is usually the most popular one, right? By order that it would be here. But, you know, if you were picking your Chinese name, for example, and your name is actually this one, Ni, which is a very common female name, then it is very likely, right, that you have to look carefully, right, to see the correct characters, okay? 好，我要继续到下一个网站 So now I'm going to go to next website. Pleco 是一个非常非常好的资源。如果你的手机有空间的话，我非常建议你们下载这个字典，因为非常非常的有帮助。I strongly recommend that if you have space on your phone to download this app. I use this all the time because there are just words that I don't know in either English or Mandarin. And so this is a really good app, and it is all free. That's the best part, right? There are all these upgrades that you can do. You can add more dictionaries, but you don't really need it. There's just the basics. The free version's already very, very good. It is available, as you see, on iOS as well as Android. Okay, 所以两个都可以, both are good. 你看，非常非常的好. Okay, so I'm not going to read all of these key features. You can read it on your own, but I highly recommend this. 非常强烈推荐这个. 好，谷歌翻译 OK， 所以我可以打一个字，比如说你好，用中文。OK, hello there, right? So, 可是比如说 for example though, if I want to say something in English, like this is apparently a very common phrase sometimes. I will tell you first of all, this is already not the way that I will teach you in terms of the sentence structure, in terms of the vocabulary. 真棒, the textbook, does have this word potentially for breakfast, 早餐, but for this, 白吉饼, that is not the word I'm going to teach you for bagel. Okay, so I can already guarantee you that whatever level of Mandarin you are in, to this day, it is still so simple and so frustrating for me when I can tell that you did not use your own brain and your own intelligence, but you chose instead to do Google Translate. And that is where you will get a 0 and completely unnecessarily, right? Because we have been learning together. So use your brains. You are very, very smart. 用你自己的大脑, okay? 因为你很聪明，你绝对可以. You absolutely can do things, okay? 好，然后到这里来, and then I'm going to come here, File, Language, 然后到最下面 then you go to the very bottom one. 第一个 this first one. 中文中国 is PRC, Mainland China, People's Republic of China, Simplified Chinese that we are working with. If you chose this one, this says Taiwan, 香港, Hong Kong. These two, I mean, I can read that, but that is Taiwan and Hong Kong, which actually uses traditional Chinese. Some of you may have been familiar with this if you have a little bit of background in Chinese. Honestly, it is up to you. 都看你都可以，我两个都可以看 right? I can understand both. In fact, growing up, I learned traditional Chinese. However, we use this, okay? And if you have no idea, don't worry about it. Just pick that first one, okay? 很重要的是要按这一个字这里写拼 ，OK， 然后按下去。OK， 按。OK， 好。Right, so what is very important is, oh, sorry, actually my screen gets in the way. But if you look over here, it is very, very important, first of all, that when you type, there are certain rules to capitalize, but I'm not going to bother to teach you that because I don't think it's necessary, right, for our course. For our course, what's important is when you see here, everything needs to look like this, and you have a lot of options here. I'm not even sure what all the options are, but I just focus on this one, okay? I will say if you want, you can also do this for the handwriting function. For those of you who have a stylus, or if you are on your iPad and you want to use a stylus or an Apple Pencil, it can help actually, right, with handwriting. My handwriting is not good, and I'm on a PC right now, right, on the desktop. So if I do this, right, it looks really ugly to me, but I can write it, and then you can see a list of a lot of options onto here, right? So I'm going to move this again. And then, right, that was the character I was trying to write. Ta-da! Okay? This can actually work really well, especially those of you who are visual learners. You want to do that, totally feel free to go ahead. For us, however, right, most of us, we're starting with the pinyin. So if you want to do this, right, what's very, very important is, I think for some reason, sometimes you guys start to press shift, or for whatever reason, see how as soon as I press shift, this happens. Then that's how you can switch between Chinese and English. But we want to type in Chinese, so of course I got to make sure to click this or click the shift button on your keyboard. Okay, I am going to tell you that you should not type out a full sentence at a time. You should type a few words at a time. For example, if I want to ask you, hello, what is your name? Then I'm going to type 你好, right? So this is the most common one. It does go by 对不起, sorry, popularity of phrases as well. So 你好, I'm going to type that. The period in Chinese is just a circle that is not filled in. Okay, most punctuation marks look very similar, but in terms of the period, it looks like that. Okay, 然后下一个, so in the next one, I'm going to type, what is your Chinese name? Or I'm going to just ask, what is your name? But I'm not going to type the whole sentence, okay? Because I feel like if I do and I accidentally spell something wrong, then everything else is actually wrong. So right now I'm going to purposely spell words wrong, okay? What I have done is this. Actually, I've missed a whole word. So all of these characters, right, are correct Chinese characters, but they make no sense at all right now. So this is why, especially those of you who maybe struggle with spelling, I strongly, strongly recommend you, right, that you type a few words at a time first. So I'm going to put 你叫, okay, 什么, and you can, by the way, on the keyboard, just type the correct number, which is number 1, or you can press enter. Oh, you cannot press enter. Haha, that is how we learn. So you should click the number that it is. Okay, so let's start again. 什么名字? Okay. 好. So that is it. That is all. That is how you type in Chinese. It's very, very straightforward and simple. If for some reason you cannot do it, maybe your internet connection is slow and you need to refresh the page. Okay. I love technology, but I am obviously not a professional, IT person, but I can tell you it is so common that a lot of times turn it off and turn it back on again, okay? Or refresh the page, do what you got to do, okay? I'm going to pause real quick here so I can start part 2 of the video. 我现在要先暂停，因为等一下要录第2个短片。